His belt was still around my wrists when the door handle turned. I froze. Naked from the waist up, my blouse tangled on the floor beside his chair, my lipstick smeared across the mahogany desk where I'd just begged for his hands. I could still taste him on my tongue, still feel the print of his teeth at the base of my neck, when the creak of the door shattered everything. "No," I whispered, twisting uselessly against the belt. "You said no one would be here." But it was too late. The door opened, and I saw him the same green eyes, the same jawline, the same goddamn cheekbones, but younger. And colder. It was his son. And the look on his face wasn't shock. It wasn't horror. It was something worse. Amusement. He leaned against the doorframe, slow and cocky, eyes crawling over my body like he owned it. "Don't stop on my account," he said. "Looks like you're finally earning that raise." And that's when I knew I hadn't just made a mistake. I'd walked into a trap. Before I tell you what happened next, make sure no one else is around, because this gets worse, so much worse. It started the way these things always start, with a late night, a tight deadline, and a man who knew exactly how to use silence as power. Mr. Carrington wasn't the kind of boss who needed to raise his voice. He just looked at you, slowly, like you were either a masterpiece or a disappointment, and you'd do anything not to be the second one. I was new. Hungry. Stupidly eager to prove myself. When he asked if I could stay late to go over the projections, I didn't hesitate. The office was dark except for the low amber lamp on his desk. Everyone else had gone home. I told myself this was my chance. That maybe if I impressed him, the promotion wouldn't go to Maddie, who'd been here longer, but didn't have half my work ethic. Or legs. He poured 2 glasses of bourbon and didn't even ask if I drank. Just handed me the crystal glass like it was part of the job. I told myself it was fine. Just part of the culture. "Tell me," he said, eyes not leaving mine, "how far are you willing to go for this position?" I smiled, trying to sound flirty but professional. "Whatever it takes." Wrong answer. He didn't touch me, not right away. He just studied me. Like he was measuring how much dignity I had left to sell. I should have walked out. But instead, I laughed, too loud, and sipped the bourbon like I wasn't shaking inside. When he stood and walked behind me, I felt the heat of his breath on my neck before I heard the words. "Stand up," he said. "Hands on the desk." And I did it. God help me, I did it. Maybe I wanted to feel wanted. Maybe I just didn't want to lose. Either way, I let him pull off his belt, loop it around my wrists, and tighten it until I gasped. "Say stop if you need to," he murmured, voice low and almost tender. But I didn't say stop. I told myself it was exciting. I told myself it was just power games. That he wasn't really using me. That I was the one in control. Lying to myself was easier with my face pressed to coldwood and my skirt hiked up. Until the door opened. That sound, it'll haunt me forever. The soft click of the handle, the longer pause, the silence like someone inhaled and forgot to exhale. Then his voice. "Dad? Dad." It hit me like a slap. I couldn't turn my head, couldn't hide, couldn't even cover myself because my damn wrists were still bound. Mr. Carrington swore under his breath, rushing to grab his jacket, throw it over me like that would fix anything. But the damage was done. His son stood in the doorway, staring at me like I was some trophy his father had left unattended. "I thought you were out of town," Mr. Carrington said, voice tight. The son just smirked. Change of plans. I finally managed to stand, hands awkward and useless, tugging the jacket tighter. "I should go," I whispered, humiliated. But the son didn't move from the doorway. "No. Stay. I'm curious what kind of bonus program this company runs." His eyes met mine, and something in my stomach twisted. Because in that moment, I realized something that made me sick. He wasn't just amused. He was planning something. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, not the father's, but the son's. That smirk. Those eyes. How he looked at me like I was already his. The humiliation from earlier pulsed through my chest like a second heartbeat. I kept replaying it, how I'd bent over a desk for power, how I'd traded my dignity for proximity to influence, and how I'd been caught like a damn secret someone left unlocked. I told myself it was over. Just a grotesque accident. One that I would bury, move past, pretend never happened. But 2 days later, a text from an unknown number shattered that delusion. "Nice blouse today. But I preferred you without it." My stomach dropped. I looked around the office, heart thundering. There he was, in the glass meeting room. Nathan Carrington. 26. Ivy League. Heir apparent. Pretending to scroll his phone while sipping a latte like he hadn't just texted me something filthy. Like he hadn't watched his father screw me like a toy and decided I was fair game. I went to Mr. Carrington's office immediately. "I want to talk to you about your son." He didn't look up. Just kept typing. "Whatever it is, handle it quietly." Handle it? My voice cracked. He's harassing me. He finally met my eyes. "Do you want that promotion or not?" And just like that, I knew. I wasn't an employee. I was currency. I left his office shaking, hating myself for what I'd let happen. But I didn't reply to Nathan. I avoided the break room. I changed my number. I even started dressing down, wearing baggy sweaters and dull makeup, as if modesty could make me invisible. It didn't. A week later, he cornered me in the parking garage. "You've been avoiding me," he said, blocking the driver's side door with his body. "You think what happened was some one-night kink? Please. You're branded now." I tried to shove past him, but he caught my wrist, not hard, not violent, but firm. "You made a choice. And now you're mine." "Let go of me," I hissed. He smiled. "Or what? You'll cry to Daddy again? Trust me, he's not the one watching anymore." Then he dropped something into my coat pocket and walked away. A flash drive. I stared at it for hours before I finally plugged it in. One video file. No name. No timestamp. Just me. Bent over the desk. Moaning. Begging. Everything. He had filmed it. I collapsed. My breath came in short, panicked gasps. My ears rang. I'd been stupid. So stupid. Whatever power I thought I had in that office, I'd given it all away that night. And now Nathan had it. For a day, I didn't go in. Faked a migraine. But the next morning, a bouquet of white lilies sat on my desk with a note. Missed you yesterday. Don't make me come find you again. I started looking for jobs that night. But the industry was small. Too small. Carrington Consulting owned half the firms in the city. And in every interview, I could feel it, that invisible hand choking my chances. He was closing the walls in on me. And worst of all, a part of me, the broken, angry, self-loathing part, wasn't even surprised. I started sleeping with the lights on. Kept my phone on silent, face down, battery half dead. Every time it buzzed, I flinched. He didn't text often anymore, not directly. He didn't need to. Nathan was smarter than that. He knew fear did better when it simmered. The flash drive was gone. I'd thrown it into the river. But that didn't matter, he had the original. Probably backups. Probably cloud storage. Probably already sent copies to his private email with a smug subject line like *leverage. The thing is, when someone like him decides he owns you, he doesn't need to say it twice. He just starts collecting the payments. It began small: meet me for lunch, stop by my loft after work, wear that black skirt I like. When I didn't respond, he'd send me a screenshot. A still from the video. Always the same one, my mouth open, wrists bound, eyes glazed with pleasure like I couldn't get enough of it. At first, I ignored it. Then I started obeying. Because I couldn't risk it going viral. Couldn't risk my mother seeing it. Couldn't risk losing my career, my reputation, myself, and he knew that. He counted on it. That's what made it fun for him. But what he didn't count on was that I'd start keeping receipts too. I bought a burner phone. Installed a hidden camera in my bag. I recorded everything, every conversation, every touch, every smug whisper he thought no one would hear. I learned to smile when he touched me in elevators. Learned to moan when he pressed against me in his car. I played the game. Until I was the one setting the rules. I want the original video, I told him one night after he pulled me onto his lap in his high-rise kitchen. Delete every copy. He just laughed. Oh baby, you don't ask me for things. That's not how this works. I leaned closer, lips brushing his ear. Then maybe I'll just let your fiancé see these texts. He froze. I saw it, the first crack in his perfect, predatory confidence. You're bluffing. I pulled out the burner. Opened the photo album. There it was, screen-recorded footage of his messages, time-stamped calls, even a short audio clip of him calling me his little office slut. His jaw clenched. You think this changes anything? I smiled. I think it changes everything. But power is never clean. And men like Nathan don't give it up without blood. The next day, my desk was cleared. Security escorted me out. No warning. No email. No severance. I called HR. They said I'd been in violation of company conduct. He'd filed a complaint first. He said I'd seduced him. That I'd blackmailed him, that I'd been threatening to ruin his life unless he gave me the promotion. And worse? He had a doctored version of the video. One where I looked like the predator. I went home. Sat on the floor. Stared at my reflection in the TV screen. Who was I? The girl who bent for power? The woman who fought back too late? The fool who thought she could win against men who write the rules? I should have disappeared. Should have cut my losses. But I didn't. Because this story wasn't going to end with me crying on my apartment floor. Not yet. Revenge isn't satisfying. Not at first. It's messy. Quiet. It crawls in the bones like rot before it blooms into fire. And sometimes you don't even realize you're lighting the match until the flames are already climbing your walls. I spent a week pretending to break down. Stopped showering. Ignored texts. Let the worry from old friends collect in my inbox like pity dust. Meanwhile, I was busy. Busy building a case. See, Nathan forgot something. People like him never expect you to know people. But I did. IT interns. Former assistants. Bitter exes. The kind of women who worked too close and too quiet. I reached out. I listened. I gathered. And what I found? Nathan had habits. I wasn't the first. There were others. A paralegal from Boston. A marketing intern from LA. A girl in HR who'd quit 3 years ago after a mental health leave. All with the same story: manipulation, coercion, shame. But none of them had proof. I did. So I called a lawyer. One who specializes in hostile workplace suits and sexual coercion. I gave her the recordings. The texts. The receipts. We didn't go to HR. We went straight to the press. The article dropped on a Tuesday. Headline: Heir to Carrington Empire accused of sexual coercion, blackmail by former employee. And right below it? A still frame from the video, not the one Nathan edited, but the one I'd taken. Raw. Untouched. Real. Within hours, his name was trending. Carrington Consulting issued a statement. Mr. Carrington, the father, resigned for personal reasons. Nathan was suspended pending investigation. And me? I got called a liar. A whore. An opportunist. But I also got something else. Silence. No more texts. No more lilies. No more smirks in the hallway like I was some plaything passed from father to son. Just silence. 1 week later, a package arrived at my door. No note. No return address. Just a plain black envelope. Inside was a flash drive. The flash drive. And a single piece of paper. You win. For now. I haven't heard from him since. Sometimes I lie in bed and wonder if he's watching. If he's plotting. If he's still angry that I turned his favorite weapon, control, into his biggest weakness. But mostly, I sleep. And when I wake up, I remind myself. I'm not the villain for surviving. He is, forever making me choose.